Well, hello, Rob. Lovely to see you again.
Originally.
Well, it was back in May of this year where we were able to come to us, and we had a really good session on, barriers, the desire to want to share Jesus with other men, but are kind of like whatever it was, barriers, reluctance, immature, unequipped, whatever it might be. So that was really a lovely time that we had with you at that time. Well, we have an opportunity in January to go. Where do we go? Where do we go next? We know we have this lovely responsibility and desire to share our faith with men. Well, where do we start? What might be you doing? Well, how are you going to help us? I think it's the 6th of January in 2024 to kind of go from where we were to maybe taking a step forward. Rob, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, it was great to be with you guys back in May. And I know that for that morning, we were looking at your vision as a men's group. And really, once we sort of like cast vision and we were talking about things as men, really sort of finished, I think, from memory as to what was stopping us from sharing our faith or sharing the gospel. And we were then really the next part is looking at, well, now that we know the vision, well, what's the strategy and what are the tools to fulfill that vision? So on the 6th, I think what would be a really good idea is for us to look at. I think I was going to share with you the CVM 4 level evangelism
Mhm.
that we have on how do we win men, and then overlay that really with, well, what were the patterns that Jesus showed us from the Bible? What did he show the disciples in how do we go and win others for him? And then looking at, well, how can we merge those together? So for you as a group of men coming together, knowing that if we're serious about this, it's going to take some time out of our diary.
Mhm.
And it also means expanding our comfort zone and overcoming some of those obstacles that we touched on last time round. But I'm going to be sharing with you some patterns, if you will, or some activities that we've been doing that I can just say these are fruitful, they work, and they're things that can be reproduced. And I think we touched on something called Who Let the Dads Out. I'm a great fan of Who Let the Dads Out. And if we talk about, well, how do we come alongside men in the community? How do we reach men in the community? How do we reach men and their families in the community? This is just a great way of being able to actually even invite them into church, but create a space where we can have some really fruitful, engaging, relational time with them that we
Hmm.
can look at as our fishing time. Jesus calls us to be fishers of men. Well, what are the ponds that we're creating where we can fish? And it's just such a wonderful environment where we can get dads, we can get men. They're having some wonderful time with their preschool children. We can put on the bacon rolls, the tea and coffee. We just come alongside them, do shoulder to shoulder stuff, get to know them, and then really introduce, faith into that conversation. But as I say, in a relaxed and in a relational way. So I think
Wow.
that's sort of things that we're going to touch upon. We're going to touch on maybe what we call a few tools that's going to equip the men to really, um, I guess, give us that confidence that
Hmm.
maybe, that we've allowed those obstacles beforehand to get in the way, where these sort of tools will give us the confidence to, in any given environment, whether it's through a men's meeting, a Who Let the Dads Out, or we're just out shopping in the local community, we have something in order where we can share why we believe what we believe, but also how we can share the gospel with someone else.
Wow. I can't, forget Christmas. Let's go right to the 6th of January. Well, Rob, that's absolutely, I mean, that sounds brilliant.